This is the family computer, aka the Famicom, and this is the Nintendo Entertainment System, aka the NES. The Famicom is not the NES. They are visibly different. The Famicom first released in Japan in 1983. The NES first released as a test launch in 1985, 2 years after, and is the version released in most places that aren't Japan. So is the Famicom just a Japanese version of the NES in a different shape? Sort of, but not quite. They can both play Super Mario Bros., but Famicom Super Mario Bros. Looks like this. NES Super Mario Bros. Looks like this. You can play Famicom Super Mario Bros. On the Famicom, but not the NES. You can play NES Super Mario Bros. On the NES, but not the Famicom. Now you could do it with a third-party adapter and vice versa, but aside from that, NES and Famicom carts are not interchangeable. There are games that release for the Famicom, but not the NES. There are games that release for the NES, but not the Famicom. NES carts, with a few exceptions, almost always look the same, but Famicom carts can come in weird shapes and sizes. The Famicom has two hardwired controllers that you cannot unplug. The second controller lacks start and select buttons and has a funny microphone that you can make Let's Plays with. This is not present on the NES controller. The NES has controller ports that you can plug controllers into, as well as accessories like the NES Zapper. Plug it into controller port 2 and you can play Duck Hunt. You cannot plug the NES Zapper into the Famicom. The Famicom Zapper is a literal gun and plugs into an accessory port in the front that looks different than the NES ports. You can plug in other Famicom accessories like the Konami Hypershot into the accessory port and play games like Hyper Olympic. You cannot plug the Hypershot into the NES. But wait, the NES and Famicom both got a redesign in 1993. The new style NES and the AV Famicom. They look visually similar but are still different in many ways. They both take cartridges from the top, but they're still not interchangeable. The new NES lost AV inputs compared to the original model. The new Famicom gained AV inputs compared to the original model. The one thing that's the same between the two systems are the controller ports, so now you can use your NES controllers on the AV Famicom. But wait, can you use the NES Zapper on the AV Famicom? No, you can't, because the internal wiring is different. The AV Famicom still has its own accessory port on the side, which is not on the new NES. Alright, are you guys keeping up? This is the Family Computer Disk System, aka Famicom Disk System, aka FDS. It was an add-on released for the Famicom in 1986. It was never released for the NES. The FDS is not the Japanese equivalent to the NES, that's the Famicom. Everything related to the FDS was exclusive to Japan unless the game was later ported over to the NES. The FDS has exclusive games, but it is not a standalone system. It requires the Famicom system to work. You connect these together and turn it on and it goes... This is the BIOS for the Famicom Disk System, not the Famicom in general. You turn the Famicom on without a cartridge, it'll just go... The FDS uses floppy disk instead of cartridges. This is Super Mario Bros. On the Famicom Disk System. This is Super Mario Bros. On the Famicom. Floppy disk, cartridge. Without the FDS drive, you can still play cartridges but not floppy disks. And you cannot normally use the FDS on the NES unless you're incredibly creative with third-party adapters. For the love of Virtual Boy, please do not call it the NES Disk System. And now you know the difference between these three things.